Which brings me to the other thing that they had all this fake outrage about. This one, I don't even want to really talk about what Sanders said. I'm going to play it. I want to play this clip from CNN. It's only about 45 seconds. And I want you to see where CNN cut this video off last night, because they have to find a way to be outraged every single day in order for them to find something to attack Bernie Sanders with. All right, here it is. Listen in.
We have won 7 out of 8 of the recent primaries and caucuses. And she has been saying lately that she thinks that I am, quote unquote, not qualified to be president. Well, let me just say in response to Secretary Clinton, I don't believe that she is qualified. If she is...
And cut. That's where they ended this video. That's where they cut it off. And that's what they spread. CNN. The news network that some people, I don't know why, some people actually think is unbiased. They spread this video, shamelessly cutting him off in the middle of a sentence so that you could be outraged about what he said, about saying, I don't believe Hillary Clinton is qualified. Now, if you want to be outraged at Bernie Sanders about him making this assertion, fine, but be outraged in context. He said, I don't think she's qualified if she takes money from super PACs. I don't think she's qualified if she takes money. She was part of the bailout, the disastrous bailout. I don't think she's qualified if she voted for the Iraq war. Argue with him on the things that he said that you feel are just ridiculous, but don't fill in the blank with your outrage, right? Because what they do, and this is the yellow journalism that I was talking about yesterday. You have all of these fake journalists, all these people with modest platforms and modest following, all of them cut mentally, even Rachel Maddow. Even Rachel Maddow, who generally tries to give as much context as possible, she played the full clip and then sound bit him right at the end of, I don't think Hillary Clinton is qualified. When the question should be, is it ridiculous for Bernie Sanders to say that Hillary Clinton is not qualified because she voted for the Iraq war? But guess what? You can't be outraged over a sentence like that, or a question like that, rather. You have to just think about the question and come up with the answer and say either, yes, it's ridiculous, Bernie Sanders. Somebody voting for the Iraq war does not disqualify them from being the president of the United States. What the hell are you talking about, Bernie Sanders? But no, they don't want to have a conversation on the substance of what he said. They need a reason to be furious and outraged and feign disgust. Like, oh my God, do you believe how disgusting Bernie Sanders is? Like, these are literal words that came out of people's mouth. He's so disgusting. He's so misogynistic, right? So now it's about him being sexist. Joan Walsh, she gets on MSNBC and she has only one card to play. Joan, get another deck of cards, please. The identity politics is running up. But I guess white privilege, they get rid of all the black splainers on MSNBC. You have Joy Reid is gone. You have MHP is gone. You have all the black faces are gone, except for Al Sharpton on Sundays. All the black people who talk about and explain race, they're pretty much gone. But Joan Walsh gets to stay there and talk about race. And then yesterday she gets to get on there, or today rather, gets on there and explains why what Bernie Sanders said is sexist. Because him saying, if you voted for the Iraq war, that disqualifies you from being president of the United States. That's sexist, even though he could apply that to all the men that voted for the Iraq war. Everything is sexist to you, mama. I'll give you a shout out. Tweet me if you know where that comes from. But they have to craft this world of outrage just to oppose Bernie Sanders. And that is what makes me so mad about this election. I honestly promise you, I don't care that Hillary Clinton is a moderate right, because you know what? I am not afraid of, I'm privileged. I'm privileged enough not to be afraid of the status quo. The status quo is not going to hurt Benjamin Dixon, right? Matter of fact, the status quo actually might help me. But I don't fight for the status quo. I fight for change for my kids and for the future. But I don't really care that Hillary Clinton is a moderate right. I don't really care that she's going to maintain everything that that we have right now. You know, it doesn't terrify me. What terrifies me is that all of her followers are so willing to do and behave exactly like Republicans do and behave. And then they're so willing to redefine what they believe in order to justify supporting Hillary Clinton, instead of just being truthful and saying, I just like Hillary Clinton and I like her so much that I don't care that she's a progressive. They don't want to say that. So what they do is they find ways to make Bernie Sanders this nefarious villain when he's anything but. They find ways to make him seem like he's racist. They find ways to make him seem like he's sexist. And then they justify and allow Hillary Clinton to get away with anything, including what her husband did today. Including belittling your own or undermining your own journalistic integrity in order to soundbite something just so that you can be outraged at it. When, mind you, they could have just been outraged with what he actually said. They could have had robust conversations about how it might be ridiculous for these expectations that Bernie Sanders placed on qualifications for president, and how it speaks to, let's say, it speaks to this idea of purity, a purity test. They could have had their way with Bernie Sanders within the framework of what he said, because what he said was not politically smart. What he said was not politically smart. I was upset with Bernie Sanders because I expect him to be politically sharp 9 days a week. And you know they're going to soundbite you, Sanders. So you should know better than to say anything. Don't give them anything. Take from them everything. Tweet me if you know what that's from at the BPD show. But he gave them something to work with last night, and they are so foolish that instead of just attacking Sanders on what he said, which could have been considered ridiculous to some people, to a lot of people, they decide to feign outrage and they jump the shark. And then they said, well, Hillary Clinton never said Barack Obama was unqualified. When you get mad or when you get full outrage and you try to prove a point, do yourself a favor, go to Google and search to make sure that what you're getting ready to say in front of a very large audience is actually true. Because according to the Chicago Tribune, 2008, March 2008, Hillary Clinton in actuality did say that Barack Obama was not qualified to be president. Well, actually, no, correction. She said Barack Obama is not qualified to be vice president. And so you have all these people with these large platforms and these large audiences feigning outrage and disgust. I can't believe Bernie Sanders had the nerve to say this sexist thing, and now he's attacking Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton. This is a new low for election cycles because Bernie Sanders, Hillary Clinton has never said this about Barack Obama. In actuality, she did. It's the same exact story, two different ways. and the circle of the universe, the balance of nature, it came full circle before 24 hours was up. They feigned so much outrage over Bernie Sanders at midnight last night, and before the day was up, Bill Clinton not only took over the news cycle with his foolishness, Bill Clinton actually just demonstrated exactly why their outrage towards Bernie Sanders is so disingenuous.